planting Yiddishkeit in suburban Maryland and in strengthening and expanding the infrastructure of Orthodox Jewish life in the greater Washington area. We all are, all were, and continue to be beneficiaries of his remarkable accomplishments. Rabbi Anemer was our family's Rav for over 40 years and a Rebbe of all of our children. Over this period, we have seen him function in many roles. As is well known, as has been stated, Rabbi Anemer was a steadfast exponent of halacha and tradition and a recognized posek. At the same time, when it came to his affection for and needs of his congregants and students, his love and devotion of teaching Torah, and his love of Israel, he was able to break new ground within defined boundaries of halacha. The following are some recollections of how Rabbi Anemer handled a number of queries that were outside the conventional she'elos that a Rav is generally asked. Before the Arcola building was constructed, Tisha B'Av services were held at University Boulevard Shul. One year I noticed that around the middle of the recitation of the morning kinnos, people started exiting one by one. Someone on the way out cautioned me that if I was not careful, I could end up being the proverbial 10th man destined to stay to the end. I spoke with someone who had left the service early and was told that because many did not understand the kinnos, after a while they started losing interest and therefore left. I was troubled what I saw and heard. I approached Rabbi Anemer and asked whether he would consider the shul having an additional morning kinnos service, at which time a selection of kinnos with some commentary would be recited. Not only did Rabbi Anemer give his consent, but added with a smile that he too might find such a service attractive. The condition that Rabbi Anemer attached to this modified kinnos service was that it should not be a rushed yosei job, but that one should allow a respectable amount of time. With this reasonable condition, Shomer Emunah has had kinnos services with commentary for more than 35 years. This format has by now become popular elsewhere as well, but in the 1970s, this was far from the norm. Rabbi Anemer had no hesitancy in authorizing this innovation, so Tisha B'Av kinnos would be more meaningful to his congregants. In 1975, we were planning a bat mitzvah celebration in our backyard for our daughter. Commemorating a bat mitzvah was not common at the time. We wanted the celebration to have a religious content and felt that the presence of the shul's Rav would give it such a tone. We were told by some that Rabbi Anemer most likely would not come to a bat mitzvah affair, and therefore better not ask. Rejecting this advice, we called Rabbi Anemer and invited him and the Rebbe. It turned out that he had every good reason to decline, since he was scheduled to officiate at the graduation of the shul's afternoon Hebrew school that day and to attend a wedding later that afternoon. He, however, agreed to attend if we could schedule the celebration at an hour that would allow him to meet his prior obligations. We obviously did so, and Rabbi Anemer delivered a meaningful Devar Torah and message to our daughter, noting that this was his first bat mitzvah drasha, meriting, quote, a shechayon. He graced many more bat mitzvah celebrations after that. A third recollection relates to Rabbi Anemer's response to a request to schedule special morning services on Yom Ha'atzmaut and Yom Yerushalayim at Shomer Emunah. For a number of years, a group of congregants had been holding such services in private homes, but some thought it more fitting to hold them in the shul. When Rabbi Anemer was approached with this request, he approved, subject to the understanding that it would be an additional minyan, that it would not replace one of the scheduled weekday Shabbos minyanim. Rabbi Anemer was concerned about maintaining the regularly scheduled minyanim for those who preferred not to attend the special services, so that they would not be prevented from davening with a minyan. With this stipulation, Shomer Nuna has had Yom Ha'atzmaut and Yom Yerushalayim services for many years, and in fact, such a service was held this morning at Shomer Nuna. A fourth recollection relates to Rabbi Anemer's role as Dean of the Girls Division of the Yeshiva High School. When our daughters were at the yeshiva, Rabbi Anemer was asked whether a class in Mishnayos could be added to the Girls Division curriculum. His immediate response was that he would gladly do so, and in fact would be willing to teach such a class. He did add, though, that such a class should be held 3 times a week, rather than a once a week 1-hour class. He felt strongly that studying Mishnayos in a school setting for boys or girls should be serious, substantive, and not superficial, and thus required class continuity. A Mishnayos class taught by Rabbi Anemer was offered in the Yeshiva's Girls Division as an elective. A number of girls stayed 3 times a week for an extra hour, and one of our daughters told me several days ago that she still recalls what she learned in that class. These 4 situations, among others, taught me how much our rabbis and teachers sincerely want their congregants and students to have enriching religious experiences and are prepared to find fitting solutions within halachic parameters. One final recollection worth mentioning is a visual one. My seat in the shul was directly facing Rabbi Anemer, seated near the Aron HaKodesh. It was a charming sight to see our Litvak Rav break into a grand smile as his Sephardic congregants, as is their custom, and especially the children, would come up to kiss Rabbi Anemer's hand. It is this beaming face that is my lasting image of Rabbi Anemer. These recollections provide an additional dimension of Rabbi Anemer's more than 50-year career as our illustrious Rav and educator. They illustrate how Rabbi Anemer handled the concerns and needs of his congregants and students in a sympathetic, understanding, and responsive manner while maintaining halachic standards. These are some of the traits that made Rabbi Anemer a beloved, respected, and successful Rav and Rebbe. Many dictums in Pirkei Avos can be cited that would describe Rabbi Anemer's qualities. Let me cite one from this forthcoming week's 6th parak, appropriately called Kinyan Torah, the acquisition of Torah, which Rabbi Anemer made his life's mission. The first mission of this parak states, Rabbi Meir Omer, Kol ha'osek b'Torah lishma zochel lidvarim harbei. Whoever occupies himself with Torah for its own sake merits many things. The Mishnah goes on to list these many things, one of which is, V'nenun mimenu eitza v'sushia bina u'gevura, and people benefit from his counsel, sound knowledge, understanding, and courage. How appropriately this maxim describes our Rav as Rav, teacher of Torah, and mentor. May the Rebbitzin and Rabbi Anemer's family be comforted by the knowledge of Rabbi Anemer's lasting impact on his many congregants and students. Yehi Zechro Baruch.